Okay, welcome back. This is going to be the final lecture for Unit 2. This is Chapter 11, Protecting People. This is sort of more focused on humanitarian rights, individual rights, justice at the international scene, these sorts of things, right? And this is by Alex Bellamy. Okay, Section 2, we'll skip the intro, we'll jump right into Section 2. They basically just sort of describe two different axes, right, of consideration. First, is moral progress possible? Yes or no? And second, which actor should be most respected, state or individual? And they break these down into four types, right? Okay, I'll skip that. It was pretty easy to understand. Okay, Section 3, Emerging Norms of Human Protection. I'll spend a little more time on this section. Okay, so when it comes to international humanitarian law, we really get the first sort of conventions in 1948, the Genocide Conventions. Shortly thereafter, we get the International Court of Justice. And then later come sort of the laws of war under the Geneva Conventions of 1949 and the additional protocols of 1977. So these were protocols for the protection of non-combatants and civilians, saying, it is illegal and a war crime to target civilians or non-combatants, and prohibitions against indiscriminate weaponry like cluster munitions, landmines, things like that, right? Let's see. We also have further protection of civilians as we move on through history. The third is about addressing specific vulnerabilities. So this is like the refugee crisis, right? So we get the 1951 Refugee Convention that allows for the modern day asylum laws, right? Which are sort of being pushed back during the contemporary period. I'll be interested to see which direction that goes over the next decade or so. We see a pushback against asylum not only in Europe, but also the United States, etc. And then you also have the conventions against rape and violence against women. So this is the sort of this is the Convention of Women, Peace, and Security of the year 2000. So kind of late to the game. Then we have human rights conventions. We have international criminal justice. So the main focuses of the ICJ are war crimes, crimes against humanity like torture, rape, etc., genocide. I would also point out, and I think it's kind of important that the more developed states don't get held to account on these things. Generally, only very weak states are held to account on these problems, and this is an issue with the ICJ. We also have humanitarian action, regional initiatives, and then the final point I'll make in this chapter is the responsibility to protect, right? And so this is also a rather modern, the last couple of decades. The first is that states have a responsibility to use appropriate and necessary means to protect their populations from genocide, war crimes, ethnic cleansing, and crimes against humanity. The second is that the international community also has a responsibility to encourage and help states to exercise this responsibility. And then finally, we have international responsibility to respond through the UN in a timely and decisive manner when sort of domestic national authorities are manifestly failing to protect their populations, right? And so we've seen action on this in Syria, Yemen, Democratic Republic of Congo, etc. So this is a pretty basic chapter here, just talking about sort of how the international quote unquote justice system is constructed. So, all right, thanks for being here for this unit. I will get all of the questions up very shortly. If you have any questions, please reach out and have a wonderful day.